Why, hello there, friends, and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. And you can probably already tell by the title of this episode what route we're going to be doing. It was a resounding Lilly, and I figured since her route's essentially the exact same way that you get to Hanako's route, I kind of was like, alright, which decision would actually lead into the route? And I figured this was it, because I think this is actually the last decision until you get to the other act stuff. So I figured, hey, let's start here and, just continue down our merry way. I've literally made the exact same decisions. So if we somehow still end up on Hanako's route, well, we'll just time warp it and we'll be fine. Because I have a pocket dimensional hole that I could just jump into at any given moment. So to kill time, we're going to walk into town. Lily's not even there. It's like, God damn it. Following Hanako to the library seems a bit intrusive. There was a reason she left the classroom after all. And that aside, I do want to catch up with Lilly. At the very least, I'd like to thank her for looking out for me, despite her other obviously taxing duties. I guess we'll walk around town. With any luck, I should be able to find Lilly, maybe. I don't know. The exercise will do me some good as well. Just don't fucking start running your ass off, because you'll just fucking die. It's the Emmy. Freaking. I'm gonna be salty about that decision till the day I die. Walking through the school courtyard to the gate, I gave a small nod to a couple of passing classmates, the gesture being returned in kind. Even from here, the shouts of the sports club members can be heard. From the sheer volume of the din, the track must be packed by now. I remember what Lilly said yesterday about being dropped right into the middle of a busy time for the school. Yep. While I'm trying to get my bearings and catch up on study that I've missed, everyone else is doing normal school activities. The feeling of being a foreigner, why'd I say that? Foreigner. Still hasn't dissipated, at least not yet. Well, I guess not everything's bad. This is a private school, and that much is easily noticed when walking around outside. Not only are the school grounds huge, but the buildings themselves are immaculate and quite divorced from, divorced? No! From the dime a dozen concrete blocks of public schools. There's also the fact that there's a much stronger feeling of community here. Well, it's the school being what it is, or at least a friendlier atmosphere. At my old school, it was generally accepted that people would keep to their little clique and be done with it. Yep. I was with the nerds, as usual. Eventually, I reached the gate and began to walk down the road and into town. Takes me a little bit, because I'm gonna go slower than usual to prevent my heart from having problems. Well, that was fairly productive. Having seen a fair portion of the town, even including the houses perched on the hills around the outskirts, I decided to take a walk around the park before heading back. Living in the city all my life, the total lack of smartly dressed businessmen and fashionably dressed girls strikes me as incredibly unusual. Where are these people? All that's to be seen are the odd elderly person shifting about along the sidewalk and assorted, busily chatting pairs of middle-aged women outside of small storefronts. That's a small town. Walking along the road to the park quickly distracts me from them, though, making me realize that I pushed myself further than I should have done to see as much as I could. We should probably sit down. As my breath begins to wheeze and my chest tightens more and more, I give up on the prospect of soldiering on. Just fucking sit down. Jesus Christ. We literally have a heart problem. After a quick glance around the park as I enter, I take a seat at a wobbly old bench that I notice near a couple of vending machines. I get a fucking drink and sit down. For minutes on end, I sit with my head bent over, forcing myself to take deep breaths. feel like more like an old man than a teenager who should be in the prime of his life. That's how I feel all the time, an old man. Though I don't count, like, I don't know if, like, being almost 30. Is that, like, prime of your life? No, that's, you're like, your prime is, like, I guess it would be around this time. But then you start deteriorating very fast. The stay in the hospital, the surgery, and the medications must be taking their toll on me. Damn it. Eventually, my breathing returns to normal, and the muscles in my chest loosen. Alright, not without a fair measure of relief. I guess this is a sign that this means the end of my little sojourn, though, in any case. Oh, there's a cafe on the far corner, so I'll stop by to quench my thirst before heading back. Hello? A little bell above the door signals my arrival to an empty counter. For a few moments, I stand there waiting, my eyes every now and then drifting from one end of the counter to the other, searching for a service bell. Eventually, a door some ways behind the counter opens, the person emerging from it taking me completely by surprise, because we haven't seen this yet. Yeah, Yuko? Hi, I actually had no idea you were working here. I really had no idea how to address her either, given that she's technically school staff as well as apparently a waitress. Yes, She quickly paces up for the counter before flinging her upper half downwards in an over-exaggerated bow. What if you, like, do a super bow and you accidentally slam your head against a fucking counter and you're like, ow. Welcome to the Shanghai. May I take your order? Straight down to business, I see. I don't know. Some coffee, maybe, please? Yes, certainly. I'll make it right away and bring it to you when it's done. Thanks. Yuko's formality takes me aback. She seems to take her job very seriously. I still like how I give her the same inflections that I've been. Obeying her instructions, I turn around and quickly glance open? What the hell does that mean? What is my brain? Glance around for a free table. Considering the cafe seems to be empty, this is a simple task to accomplish. Hello? As I walk towards a table adjacent to the window, I notice a flash of yellow around one of the table dividers. Double yellow! Sure enough, no more than a glance is needed to ascertain that it's a certain Satao at the table. That said, I don't recognize the suited figure across the table from her, but we do. We've been here. Blonde, fair-skinned, and only a little shorter. She? I think she? Must be a relative. Since the two are all but silent as the suited figure takes a swig from a cup of coffee, I decide to greet Lilly. Some part of my coming here was in order to meet her, after all. Hi, Lilly. Hisao? Yeah, nice to meet you again. The suited girl looks up, noting my uniform with a relaxed smile. You know each other? I guess. What do you mean? It's as good an approximation of our relationship as I can think of. Are you fucking serious? Care to take a seat? She says this to the air beside me, but the message is clear enough, and I take a seat beside her. I suppose some introductions might be in order. Hisao, this is Akira Satao, my older sister. Akira, this is Hisao Nakai, another Yamaku student. Looks like my guess was correct. The newly introduced Akira gives a nod, which I return. What I don't return, however, is the almost analytical gaze with which she looks me over. Scanning, analyzing for hostiles. As she does so, Yuko walks up to the table and carefully places the coffee on the table before bowing and taking her leave. I like the... I don't know if I mentioned this last time. I would not be surprised if I did. I like Akira's red eyes. I don't know, red eyes were always like cool to me. Like red and they're, Gently bringing my hand to the side of the cup, I realize that's already at just the right temperature to drink. Damn, that's some service. After taking a sip, the flavor turns out to be just as good as the temperature. Yuko seems a lot better at this than being a librarian. I take a good long drink before relaxing into the seat. It takes a few more seconds for Akira's examination to come to an end. Apparently becoming quickly bored with the activity, she turns to her sister. So, how's school recently? Seems Akira is entirely unconcerned with someone she doesn't know at all, listening to everything they say. What the fuck does it matter? Not that I mind. Leaving them to their chatting, I sit back and continue drinking the pleasantly aromatic coffee. God, it took effort for me to say coffee. Sounds like it's pretty busy for you then. I don't know why am I trying to go country? God fucking damn it. I don't understand. I can't do like a deeper feminine voice. I can't. It's impossible. What do you want from me? You think I'm a voice actor? I'm not. Yeah, I was in one visual novel. One. And that's it. I'm garbage. God damn it. At least I'm not cooking your meals after school anymore. As they talk, I slowly realize that I'm entirely unable to gauge Lily's emotions through her eyes, as I would for any other person, because she's blind. It becomes slightly unsettling as I subconsciously focus on that fact. Oh, so cold. Were you just cooking for yourself anyway? I only ever got leftovers. That's not the point. Are you managing to feed yourself at least? No. I could cook without blowing myself up, Mostly. It's fine. I needed to learn sometime anyway. Lily? Everyone present is momentarily distracted by Yuko, who places a cup of tea on the table for Lily. Thank you. Taking the moment to glance at her watch, Akira leaves herself off her seat and gives me a quick nod. Well, be back in the saddle again. Well, I'd better be off. It was nice talking to you, Lily. I swear to God, I'm gonna make her country. It's gonna happen because how she uses some of the words she uses. I'm just saying. Akira, do you have to? Lily looks genuinely mournful as her sister suddenly leaving. It does seem like she might have the wrong idea. Sorry, I need to get back to work. They'll be on my neck again if I don't make it back quickly. So informal. Akira's trim and tidy appearance would give anyone the wrong impression of her. Bye, Akira. Come on, don't look so down. I'll be around again soon. See yas. See you later. With that, she waltzes out of the Shanghai with her head held high. Lily still looks pretty depressed. Give her a back pat. Back pat? You know what I mean. So I try to make some small talk in an effort to take her mind off it. She seems nice. We used to live together, but now that I live at school, we hardly ever see each other. Despite Lily having been quite affable, I still don't know really much about her. In hindsight, it's surprising just how much she's extracted from me, really. You used to live together? Was it somewhere around here? It was pretty far south, so the trip into Yamaku was fairly long. With her working hours getting longer and Yamaku being so far away, there was little choice in the end but to move into the dorms. Well, that explains the chatter about cooking. Evidently regaining her composure, she livens back up. At least in part. I take it you're better rested now? What? Sorry? You sound less exhausted than you did when you first came in. I was... Lily, let me tell you. I walked, and it was exhausting. No joke, though. It was a decent walk, you know? Literally walked around the entire town. As small as it may be, to be able to pick out my breathing like that. She must have really good ears. That's because she's blind. All her other senses are forced to work overtime. Yeah, ended up walking all over town, despite only planning on taking a short walk down here, you know? Reminded of my thirst from the walk, I lean forward to take a sip of coffee. Yeah, coffee's gonna fucking quench your thirst. Without further ado, Lily starts on her cup of strong-smelling tea. I guess I'd better get going back to Yamaku. There's only so long I can I can stall studying for. And I want to get a good night's sleep before the festive inevitable. Standing from my seat, I take the coffee-stained cup from the table. Ooh, you're leaving? Yeah. You going to head back as well? It's getting kind of late. For a moment, she pauses before lifting her face over her teacup as if she was looking at me. Yuko, could we have one more coffee, please? Okay, I'll bring it right away. That's not subtle. She gives a short giggle at my frank assessment of her maneuver. It's surprisingly childish and carefree, given her otherwise collected appearance. In the end, though, I have little reason to refuse. To be honest, I can hardly say no, all things considered. Given a manufactured sigh, I take a seat opposite her. Wanting company, then? I would... Like, he was straight gonna leave, right? For me, it's just, I would have stayed regardless, I feel like, until she left. I'd say that it's more that I was wondering. I see she's in questioning mode again. She does seem to be unusually interested in me, or at least curious. Do you have any siblings? Not exactly an unexpected tangent. No, only child. To be honest, the idea of having someone that close makes me a bit envious. Dude, I'm an only child as well. So I don't know how it is to have brothers or sisters. Interesting. I raise an eyebrow, which of course goes unseen. The short silence communicates the question well enough. It's just that others have said the same thing before. It's a difficult subject to try and think about objectively, given that I've always had someone like that. I can mostly understand what Lily means, given that it would be hard to place oneself outside of a situation they've been in all their life. Yeah, exactly. She and her sister must have a pretty close relationship. Taking pains to interrupt us as little as possible, Yuko dutifully comes over and places a cup on the table. Lily thanks her as I sit back, taking in this vexing girl in front of me. Despite always seeming to be on her guard and in control of herself when talking to others, she has an almost childlike curiosity about other people. That said, those rare moments she seems to slightly lower her guard are the most insightful into how she thinks. Reaching forward for my drink, I realize something I probably should have noticed earlier. I think I'm starting to become kind of curious about her. That's good. We need to get on her route. Right? Despite making a good pace, it's already nightfall by the time I reach the large iron gates in front of the school. Did we just actually leave her? While it's nice to have plenty of time to wander around by virtue of living right next to the school, I can't help but get the feeling that very few students actually take the opportunity. Jesus, it's actually fucking scary out here. Compared to the number of students I see milling around on campus during free time, it's startlingly rare to see anyone around town. Given the large number of accommodations and faculties that the school offers, many of them might simply not see any point in venturing outside, let alone people such as Hanako and Kenji. Two sides of the same coin. Makes me wonder if students like Shizune, Misha, and Lily are the exception for the school, rather than the norm. Oh, Misha. Ooh. As I wander back to the dorm room, I continue to compare my old school with Yamaku. As I do so, I begin to be surprised that I managed to get this, even this used to everything that's happened to me. Oh, okay, I'm fading to black, I guess. Okay, bye. All right, so we haven't. I'm willing to bet that we've already. I have the setting to. At least I think we ain't ever disabling that setting. Hey. But skip unread text. For some reason, it was automatically fucking selected, like, you know, checked, which was weird. I don't ever remember doing that or ever skipping text, so I unchecked it. So, because the game doesn't really have a it has. See, well, let's test on screen. Because it has a thing where, you know, it's going to stop when I haven't read something. So if I hit the skip button, yeah, I figured. I already knew. But it doesn't really tell you in other text, like the color of the text, if you've read it before. But if you see, like, look at that. Whoop. It, like, darkens since yeah. Anywho, I'll be back to something we haven't seen yet. Hello, we're in the festival, and we're gonna make the festival more enjoyable for Lilly. So, right! I know what I'll do! Even if it's just one person, I'll make the festival more enjoyable for her. As I place the bowl on the counter, I call out to Lilly. Ah, Hisao, you brought it back? Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna just keep a bowl that's not mine. Yeah, here. I slide it into her hands, and she takes it over to someone who's apparently on cleaning duty. Considering that I didn't see them here before, it's probably a penalty for their tardiness. Hey, Lilly? She perks up and returns to the counter as she hears my voice again, realizing that I'm still here. Wanna go see some more of the festival? With me? She puffs her cheeks disapprovingly. Looks kind of cute and in complete contradiction to her usually reserved nature. Takes a few seconds for me to get what she's taking issue with. Whoops. Oh, I didn't mean to. Lilly giggles at me, exposing for her teasing for what it is. You're still not used to this school, are you? No. She got me. Still, I kind of need to stay with our stall. It's taken until just now to even get everything unpacked. I could help. I mean, if I want to. I guess her reluctance shouldn't overly surprise me, considering how much work she's put into this. Everything that seems to be running fine now. Besides, you've got extra help on hand anyway. A boy in the middle of the cooking some soba noodles turns toward us, grinning. Go on, Lils. I want to call her that. You've earned yourself a break. We can hold down the fort for now. Go on, get. If you say it's okay, then I suppose so. But if you need any help, then we'll call you. Go on, we'll be fine. Lily's so like, she need help. Lilly finally gives up her resistance as he waves a spatula at her. She feels her way around the back of the stall and picks up her cane on the way. I guess the first thing we should do is look for Hanako. Lilly seems kind of worried about her. And here I am worried about Lilly. And I doubt she'd be the kind of person to enjoy milling about in crowds like this all alone. So, I guess we should first search for Hanako. Where to? Both of us go quiet for a moment to think. Maybe she's in her dorm room? I doubt it. She doesn't keep too many things in there, so she'd have nothing to do. Ah, the library! Of course! Who would have thought? As good a place as any to search for an avid reader, I suppose. Well, the library it is. We'll check there first then. Alright. Aside from the muffled sounds of the crowd seeping from the outside, the inside of the school seems almost deserted. In order to make sure everyone had enough room, I guess all the events were organized to be held outside on school grounds. They're definitely quite large by any other school standards. I wouldn't want all those stalls and shit inside. It's nice and quiet in here, isn't it? Yeah, much nicer than the hustle and bustle outside. We take our time and slowly walk through the first floor of the school, eventually reaching the stairs to the second floor. I can't help but notice how Lilly anticipates every door and obstacle, her cane remaining still and her hands skating along the hallway railings. Damn, you really know the school that well, don't you? She smiles and nods straight ahead. I've been here for a few years now, so I know where everything is. The dorms still trip me up, though, sometimes. I haven't been there as long, and they're not as well laid out as the main building. As well laid out. If I'm remembering right, they used to be unused buildings before being renovated and being used as dorms. Well, that explains why the male and female dorms look different from the outside, and why their rooms seem kind of unusual for sleeping quarters. I'd assumed she'd been living in the dorms since she began attending school. But now I'm reminded of what she said yesterday. Uh-huh. That's right, you did mention that before, literally yesterday. She's fucking... How can you forget? Or almost forget. I'd assume that most of the students here lived in the dorms, so once they enrolled, a lot of them seem to, in any case. Lily's expression becomes somewhat harder to read, my questioning evidently touching on a delicate point. I'm sorry. Well, how should I say? Everyone has their reasons. Something tells me that one of those with reasons is Hanako, which, you know, we know. Hence her tiptoeing around my answer. My own predicament is yet another such case. I guess it's a choice everyone here would have to make for themselves, or in my instance, have made for them. Can't be helped, I guess. At least Yamaku itself seems like a nice place. It's good to hear you say that. I thought you were coming to dislike it. What about you, though? My reversal of Lily's statement seems to take her by surprise. Ha! I've been here for a while, so... It's not that. You just seemed pretty depressed about Akira. Or rather, There we go, that was better. What's with that look? Akira's taken. Sorry, Hisao. Damn it! Lily never sees how fast my palm meets my face at her sly accusation. I was worried about you. That's no way to respond to concern. While she gives an amused grin, we round the corner of the hallway and enter the library. Fucking, there she is. As we do so, it isn't hard to spot Hanako, considering that the room is completely devoid of everyone else. Given that there are no staff around, I guess there's no need to heed usual library rules. I call out to her, "Hey, Hanako!" I just, as soon as I enter, just start shouting, "Hanako's here!" As she hears our voices, Hanako's head flicks up from behind a book, probably the same one she'd been reading on Friday. Hisao? Lily? Just thought we'd drop by. Lily just managed to escape from the noodle stall with a little help from a certain person. That wasn't really an escape. Hanako gives a small giggle, briefly surprising both of us. I just thought that Lily might not be enjoying the festival. Well, now we can all enjoy it together, right, ladies? The two nod happily before we set out of the library and towards the festivities. Da, 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 da. Oh my god. Man, we've been at it all day, huh? I hand over some change to the girl behind the counter and take the 2 styrofoam cups of tea. Try to accentuate. There we go. Fucking brain. My tongue was like, I will not let you say words that you know. Accentuate. Thanks, brain. My bow a bit to cover for the fact that she's quite obviously deaf. Come to think of it, I probably should have asked for help instead of leaving those 2 in the gardens while I bought drinks. Trying to juggle the 2 cups of hot tea for them and a can of coffee for myself out of a vending machine isn't exactly easy. With some careful maneuvering, though, I managed to keep everything stable and upright as I walk over to the bench where Lily and Hanako are sitting and chatting. It's actually quite a nice place, lit only by the moonlight, just tucked away some distance from the main events. Compared to how hot it had been during the day, this spot is also pleasantly cool by now. That feeling when it's hot all day and then it gets nighttime and somehow it gets to freezing and you're like, oh yeah, this is so much better because being cold is way better than being hot. Not that it matters all that much. Most of the visitors have moved to areas that are either closer to the fireworks or higher on the hill in order to view the display apparently planned. Welcome back, Hisao. Her ears are good. I'm not exactly close, and even Hanako hadn't noticed me. Here you go. Sorry, it's instant, but that's all they had left by now. Hanako gingerly takes a cup from my right hand. Good. Oh, and I gently place the other into Lily's outstretched hands. Did you enjoy the festival then, Hisao? Yeah, it was pretty fun. I liked it. Honest answer. Much of the food may have been somewhat subpar. It's what the fuck you think this is? But it was a lot of fun in the end, especially with Hanako and Lily. In fact, I think those 2 may have enjoyed themselves even more than me. With both Lily and me around, much of Hanako's withdrawn nature around others died down enough for her to enjoy herself. Oh my god. Actually kind of freaked me out a little bit. As we sit drinking, the whistle of the first firework rings out before it explodes into a vibrant shower of blue against the night sky, heralding the beginning of the end for the festival. And enthusiastic shouts can be heard from the crowds scattered around the school grounds celebrating him. For minutes on end, Hanako and I watch the fireworks overhead as Lily blissfully listens to them with her eyes shut. Red, green, yellow, star-shaped, circular, and patterned. And all manner of shapes and colors fill the air, one after the other, and dance across the sky. No place near where I lived put on such lavish displays. Festivals like this were a thing of the past in such a metropolitan area. To be seeing such a sight with these 2, it's probably the happiest I've been in a long while. I'm so happy. Like how they even changed the little flashing for that. So that's it. The festival's finally ending. Yeah. She gives a delicate, wistful sigh. As much as I might complain about all the stuff we have to do, it's still sad that we'll have graduated before the next Yamaku festival. Oh, I walk forwards and stand beside Lily, gently resting a hand on her shoulder. Don't worry. We still have Tanabata later in the year, right? You're right. It would be nice to go there when it comes. Minutes of silence pass, with only the blasts of fireworks to be heard. Seeing these 2 reminds me of those words of advice Lily had given me as we walked into town together. Cherish the opportunity to make new friends, huh? Hey, Lily. She turns her head slightly to show that she's listening, Hanako's gaze still firmly fixed on the Technicolor fireworks bursting overhead. You mind if I join you 2 for tea every now and then? Aw, the smile on her face is more than enough to see her answer. It would be a pleasure, Hisao. Oh, God. Again, I like the little animations that they have. And 2, this is gonna be emotional. You can already tell just from that fucking animation. Just like how it was for Hanako's. You already knew fucking shit's about to go down. I wake up to the annoying din of my alarm clock. Its bright red numerals lighting up my face. It's the same alarm clock I had at home. One of the few remaining artifacts from my days before coming to Yamaku. I'd hoped that using it would help ease my transition into this new life. No such luck, though. Groggily dragging myself out of bed, I wipe the sleep out of my eyes, then reach over to my desk. I open a couple of bottles of medication strewn across it and swallow a few pills dry. Ow. Don't do that if they're like horse pills, man. Calm down. By now, the process is starting to become automatic, something I should be glad for, given their purpose. Just splash his face. Oh, God, I hope I don't see naked Kenji again. Feeling much more awake than before, I wander into the bathroom. Oh, boy. While the shower warms up, my mind begins to wander as my new daily routine begins once again. The bright colors of the fireworks fill my mind, as do the 2 girls with whom I spent my time watching them. Feels strange to be moved so much by people I know so little about. Then again, I suppose these aren't normal circumstances. At least I have someone to talk to now, aside from my schoolmate next door. Don't say that. He might show up. with the time left before school begins today's... What the fuck did I just say? Jesus. Hold on, let me repeat that. With the time left before school begins today waning, I begin to get ready for class. Oh, thank God. I didn't have to see him naked. Walking through the door into the classroom, I notice that I'm still somewhat early. I see about like 5 or 6 students milling around, most of them looking as if they'd rather still be in bed. Ooh, got me. It's at times like this that I appreciate being a morning person. Ew. That said, 2 students in particular seem just as perky as always. Here we fucking go. Hi, Shizune, Misha. I suddenly realized that my greeting would be lost on the former, so I quickly follow it up with a wave. She doesn't seem overly bothered. I'd probably do the wave at the same time as talking. Just... or interested, for that matter. Damn. Hello, Hick-chan! Are you feeling well? I can only assume her greeting comes from Shizune. It's hard to tell if she's speaking or as herself or Shizune sometimes. She's an amalgamation at this point. Better than most anyone, I guess. You 2 seem bright and chipper. Misha signs back to Shizune as I say it, eliciting a somewhat terse answer. If her sharp and rapid arm movements are any indication, considering that these 2 made such a big deal out of the festival preparations, I probably should have chosen my words more carefully. Since you're a new student, we've been cutting you some slack. Please don't expect this kind of task dodging to be allowed in the future. Misha looks as if she's about to add her own comment, but quickly goes back to interpreting as Shizune continues unabated. While you're contributing to Class 3-2 stall is appreciated. Huh. Word got around quickly. That or these 2 have their fingers on the pulse of the school. They're the student council. We would prefer your efforts to be more focused on the task at hand, namely, your own class. As much as I hate to admit it, they do, yeah, they kind of have a point. Before I can respond, though, Shizune adds something more, which draws a smile from Misha. Ooh. Did you enjoy the festival, then? Lecture over, I guess. Yeah, it was good. Did you 2 enjoy it? Shizune gives a short nod as Misha grins and bounces their head up and down. The contrast, side by side, is amusing. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice more students start to trickle into the classroom. A quick glance at my watch confirms that they're a few minutes late. Oh, look at Aniko, she's like slinking in. I look over to Hanako's seat and realize that she's already there. Oh, she's... and contentedly reading a book. It makes me wonder just how long she's been there without me noticing. With heavy footsteps coming up from the hallway signaling Muto's arrival, our idle talking comes to an end, and I take my seat next to Misha. As the door slides on open, he strides through with a ponderous gait. His posture is even worse than usual, and his eyes are barely staying open. I guess my quip to Lilly and Hanako about the staff was misplaced. Everyone opens their books as he reaches his desk, and the first class of the new week begins. And we skip all that shit because fuck school, yeah! Don't do your homework. I mean, realistically, you probably should do your homework. Don't listen to me. I didn't like doing my homework, so either I'd not do it, or I'd do it in class and not pay attention to whatever the fuck the teacher was saying, but I would still get all B's in my classes because I was told that if I kept a B average, I would keep getting allowance money when I was a kid. So because of that, God damn it, dude.